Somehow I woke up out in Beverly, fucked up, smelling like that bourbon. And I end up alone. I'm not certain. Yeah, the girls impolite in the club every night. That's how it goes when you Hollywood perfect. Hollywood perfect.
Welcome people, Lumini here, back again with another episode of the FWA Local to Global here on my channel. Now obviously last time out we made some big decisions. We set up Battle Bracket, which is going to be a tournament style, couple of events that we do probably for the next 2 or 3 months. I have been in the background off camera kind of figuring out everything and storylines and stuff going forward. We obviously now have a pretty large roster all in all, which you may be thinking money wise, how does that make sense, because it's not gonna do what it was required to do, blah blah blah. There's ways to do it. I don't know if we're necessarily going to be able to do it well, because I'm not that well versed at this game like we've discussed before, but there's ways to do it. And yeah, so basically this episode will be starting off the tournament brackets. We've set it up in here now as the tag team championship battle bracket. We're going to have the women's battle bracket going on as well, and then I've got some different ideas about what we're going to do when it comes to the cruiserweight picture, because I think we have quite a stacked cruiserweight division right now. If we quickly go and take a look at it fully, I mean, we've got Zaya, Wada's been doing decently for us as well. Obviously, he's still a young lion at the moment. Oliver Carter, obviously a big headache for me at the moment, but someone that is performing way above levels that he probably should. Nick Riley won't be a part of the cruiserweight division because he will be in the battle bracket. Luke King Sharp, been performing way above his level. Leon Cage, who has been getting better and better. Obviously still young, lots of growth for him. Kenny Williams is now moving up divisions actually, so I need to move him over to different division. Joe Lando, when he eventually comes back. Jody Fleisch is leaving us, but could be someone we use in the future. JJ Gale was putting in good performances. Ike Navarro is about as well. So like, there's a lot to do with the cruiserweights as well, and I think I have a couple ideas of how I want to go forward with that. But the most important part of the next couple of episodes is getting the battle bracket fully sorted out. Now, obviously, we've set it up in-game. I need to keep a track of it outside of the game as well, because there is a lot to keep track of going forward in these ones. And I'm hoping what it will do is it will span the next couple of months for us. Now I have changed all of our shows bar 13th Hour, I think, and New Dawn. I've changed them all to be 1 hour shows, because I think that was one of the reasons that we're bleeding extra money, is because I'm shoehorning so much stuff onto shows that it's kind of in a way to our detriment, because obviously then we're spending more money. I have also found out through doing a little bit of research, just trying to find out more about how certain regions work, that the UK is one of the harder places to start a company in, because obviously in terms of homegrown talent, a lot of them have moved across to the US now, so it's not cheap to have a lot of big name talent and stuff like that. So that is something that we're just going to have to battle. We hope that, like I said, we can turn it around as time's going on. Charles Crowley and Elijah, got Golden Boy and Francisco, Hunter Brothers, The Purge, Smoking Aces, and the Stunners. I have been doing a little bit more research in my free time to kind of get more well versed with the UK scene, because though I was in the past very well versed with the UK scene, I kind of stopped watching as much UK indie stuff, so a lot of the names that we have been working with I haven't known well. I am now, I wouldn't say I'm well versed, but I know slightly more, I would say. So yeah, that is something that I thought was important for us to do. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now. We're going to keep powering forward towards the next battle bracket and our first battle bracket show. So only confirmations of Jody Fleisch and Miles Kamen both leaving the company. Obviously Jody, we just can't afford his contract at the moment. I will be looking to try and bring him back should he not retire in the time that we can do that, but I would like to have him around the company more. Miles, I just don't think we really had much going for. He may again be one that comes back, but at the moment not someone we need. Who have we got decision on? Oh, we've got contract negotiations with Herman Christensen. I think that was just to extend his contract, right? An interesting one, not an affordable one for us, but Johnny Gargano has just left WWE, so he is now available. I would absolutely love to bring someone like Johnny Gargano in, but at 900 per show plus 200 travel, don't think we can quite swing 1,100 for a talent, even a talent as good as Johnny Gargano. So I think for now we're going to have to probably leave that one. We then do have the Cara Noir confirmation that he's now left FWA, which again was one that we were planning for, so no problems there. None of the rest of these are anything to do with us. So we are still just powering ahead towards Battle Bracket. So see you there. I don't remember if we talked about this one before, but at the beginning of the year, Wade Barrett did leave WWE. So Stu Bennett now is actually still unemployed and someone that I very much would like to bring in at some point. So that is going to be a target of ours for the future for sure. One that I'd forgotten about, Sami Zayn has been offered a touring contract by AJPW. I literally forgot that he wasn't already with or still with WWE. Ricky Knight Jr., who I have just seen has gone up to 600 per show now, has been offered a contract by TNT. Live Valkyria's contract is ending. Obviously not very unlikely we're going to be able to afford her at 800 per show, but she is confirmed to be leaving WWE, so it'll be interesting to see where she ends up. Myla Grace has moved to Japan, which isn't great for us because we were going to try and sign her at one point, but that probably now won't be a thing. And Rev Pro, who are only about 50k more in debt than us, have been handed another bankruptcy warning, so that is slightly worrying, because if they're only just in front of us in terms of their financial issues, that makes me a little bit nervous. We are at Battle Bracket here today, so we will be getting into the booking of that show in just a sec. Right, here we go. We are at Battle Bracket. I don't think we're giving anybody the night off, because obviously we've got plans for everybody at the moment in terms of what they're doing, so we will skip that. What are we expecting in terms of fans? 95 fans in the building today. The economy and the wrestling industry are both above average, however they are falling at the moment, which again is not great for us, but obviously we will be going for generic. Booking team wise, what have we got here? Make sure we've still got no problems in our booking team, that everybody is happy, so that's all good. Got 143 energy to use, so obviously most of that is going to go on creative finishes. We have got a near certainty, but only for Laura Di Matteo. We'll pick up another one, which is a bit of a gamble, so we will keep it because we might be able to use it for an undercard, and also pick up a character idea which is likely to succeed, which might be helpful for some of our disgruntled talents. Lucian Phillips turned up and is requested to be allowed to hang out. He is unemployed. He's a professional type, so yeah, he can hang out in the back, why not? Nick Riley ran training with 2 of the female students in basic and safety with June Lee and LA Taylor, and also 9 of the male students in Levi Muir, Luke Sharp, Herman Christensen, Will Cruz, Leo Cage, Yu Awada, Randall Robertson, Elijah, and Jim Hunter. Jim Hunter doing training, which is quite surprising considering he's pretty well known. We're going to do an Inspire for this one, which gives a big boost, and then I will book this out and get back to you guys. So we have had a bit of a mare here, because Golden Boy Santos, JJ Gale, Laura Di Matteo, Nightshade, Sapphire Reed, and Scott Bell are all currently working a Rev Pro show, which when we booked this in, I didn't check to see if another show had been booked in, so none of them are actually available. So at them, I was just trying to book out the first round of battle bracket in the tag team side of things. And at the moment, we can't actually finish off the booking because we have got the Stunners left, but no one to face them because they were facing Golden Boy and Francisco, which, yeah, that's not great, to be honest. I was kind of hoping that we could get all booked out, so we're not even going to be able to do the women's side of things in this one either because our Women's World Champion isn't here. So we have to start off with these two, and then I think next battle bracket we're going to have the Stunners and one of the other guys and Golden Boy run 2 matches basically. But yeah, that is not an ideal way to start battle bracket. Alright, no, so actually that's changed. David Francisco is here. Golden Boy Santos isn't here. So yeah, we have got some talent here, but some are away. So we will be able to book some of the women's stuff in. But yeah, the most annoying one is the fact that Golden Boy Santos isn't here because his partner actually is here. So what I might do is temporarily throw in David Francisco and Randall Robinson to face the Stunners because obviously Randall Robinson is the manager of Golden Boy Santos and is managed by Golden Boy Santos. So yeah, he might just have to be his replacement for the time being, and I might have to change that for that to be the case. But yeah, it's not ideal, but I think that still kind of solves things for us. And it means we can still get all of the matches done. So yeah, I'm obviously not going to show you who's booked to win it, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. Alright, so this is the card that we've got at the moment. In this one, we've got Kenny Williams and Herman Christensen versus Tate Mayfair and Will Cruz in a tag team match on the pre-show. That is purely just to get them on the card so they're not pissed off about the fact that they would have missed it. Then June Lee versus LA Taylor will round off the pre-show. That is a tournament match. I just didn't have space for it on the card at the moment. So yeah, it will just... actually, maybe I should... So tournament match will then follow between June Lee and LA Taylor. It will open the show with a Josiah angle before another tournament match, which will see Chantel Jordan versus Sky Smithson. Obviously, that leaves Nightshade and Sapphire Reed as our other tournament match. David Francisco and Randall Robinson will then take on the Stunners before Charles Crowley and Elijah take on the Purge, and we main event with the Hunter Brothers up against the Smoking Aces. So let's go ahead and get into this card. So in our first pre-show match, we do get a 41 as we see Tate Mayfair and Will Cruz pick up the win over Kenny Williams and Herman Christensen in 7 minutes 37 when Tate Mayfair pinned Herman Christensen. Obviously, we knew Herman was going to be the weakest link in this, but I thought putting him in there with a bunch of decent level talent should give him a good performance. I think 18 might be one of his highest yet, so it clearly worked a treat, to be fair. The best performer being Tate Mayfair's, Will Cruz second best, Kenny Williams third. I didn't really want to give Kenny Williams a loss in this one, but I didn't think it was fair for me to give Herman Christensen the win over Will Cruz and Tate Mayfair, so it is what it is. Kenny had to eat this one. We do have 98 people in the building in this one, so decent attendance for us. 41 to start things off isn't bad either. In a very bad match in our pre-show, which is going to mark down our show, LA Taylor has defeated June Lee by pinfall. They're meant to try and steal the show on the pre-show. However, what's happened instead is LA Taylor has sustained a strained bicep. June Lee got a 13, LA Taylor getting a 30, so not great from her. Her gimmick did get a good rating. She was injured. Apparently it dragged a little bit. June Lee was off her game and LA Taylor was tiring towards the end. So all in all, a match that didn't go down very well. Maybe we should have started things off with this match. But yeah, unfortunately now, a strained bicep for LA Taylor may even rule her out. But anyway, we'll move on to the first part of the show, which is an angle that gets a 35. So Zaya starts the show off talking about the stacked division. he stands atop and how he knows his talent, ready to step up to face him. Ike Navarro is the first to answer, as he says that him and Cesar have been putting Spanish wrestling on the map and should continue to do so by facing each other for the belt, before Leon Cage and Oliver Carter both join the party and stake their own claims for a title match, before Yu Owada silently makes his way to a pretty ravenous applause from the crowd onto the stage to make sure his face is seen in this conversation. Ashton Smith then makes a match for the next battle bracket between the challengers, calling for a four-way elimination match to determine a number one contender. Nothing below a 30 in our ratings, so that is nice to see for sure. The Cruiserweight Chase storyline has started as well. I thought since we have a lot of talents in this one, we could benefit from a storyline here. Also, Yu Owada is apparently getting better at his gimmick. Still trying to work out what's going on with Yu Owada and his excursion. I can't see a definite date on when he's meant to go back. I do have some ideas for him, but I don't want to give them to him if he's then just going to leave us halfway through and leave us high and dry, basically. So, keeping a tentative eye on him. Let's move on. Then, in a technical masterclass that had great wrestling and good heat, Chantel Jordan has defeated Sky Smithson in 11 minutes 49 by submission. Very good rating for this match of 43 overall. Chantel getting a 41 and Sky getting a 40. Nothing else to really say besides from, yeah, it's a pretty decent match between the two all in all. Chantel Jordan does move on in the tournament. The next match was David Francisco, and who was meant to be Golden Boy Santos, but now it's Randall Robinson versus the Stunners, and this was a match so that they could tell a specific story. The Stunners have defeated David Francisco and Randall Robinson, as you probably would have expected, when Omari submitted Randall Robinson. As you probably would have been able to tell, Randall Robinson was the weak link, which, again, like I said, not surprised. We only get a 35 for this one, probably because of Randall Robinson's inclusion in this, but we didn't really have a choice because I needed to kick it off. David Francisco got a initial rating of great for his gimmick, which is very nice. You see the rating wise here, Amari with a 40, David Francisco was the best performer with a 42, Levi Mill with a 32, Randall Robinson with a 12. I'm hoping what can happen is that we'll be able to swap Randall Robinson out next time Golden Boy Santos is available, or we may have an angle to branch off of this afterwards. But yeah, it was always going to be obvious once we knew Golden Boy wasn't ready or wasn't available that inevitably they would have to lose this match. So it is what it is, and we move on to the next. In the next match, we see Charles Crowley and Elijah against the Purge, and Charles Crowley and Elijah have defeated the Purge when Charles Crowley pinned Stevie James with a quick cradle. Charles Crowley apparently actually carried the match, so they will pick up their first 3 points, I believe it is, that we've set it to. And you can see here all of their gimmicks got debuted. We got a very good for Stevie James, a poor for Crowbar, poor for Elijah, and a great for Charles Crowley. Rating wise, Elijah was way back at only a 30. Charles Crowley picked up a 47. Stevie James and Crowbar both at 37 and 36. This was a way for me to kind of see where all four of these guys were at. I at this point still haven't picked who's actually going to come out of the tournament as champions yet. So that is something to still be seen as well. Charles Crowley benefited from having a hot new move. Elijah was rusty, but hopefully that will go away over time. But yeah, so we get a 40 for this one. Crowd rating was only 11, but it seems like the wrestling rating actually brought it up to make it a 40. So not bad overall. And in the main event, which I thought would be a huge main event and has ended up being so, in a bout that saw superb wrestling and great heat, the Smoking Aces have defeated the Hunter Brothers in 13:25 when Charlie Sterling and pinned Jim Hunter with a spiral tap It was made so that they could go out. Jim Hunter was the weak link, so we did pick the right guy to take the fall in this one. Lee Hunter having an absolutely huge performance down there, I can see though. I am going to be doing commentary for this one, so I'll send you over to that before we break down the rest. He's not going to be doing commentary. It's Co-Manny here, and I'm ready to get into some action. I'm sure you guys are too, and we have a hell of a match here for you. Hunter Brothers, Smoking Aces, who will claim their 3 points in the tag team battle bracket. Back and forth match here. You see early on Jim Hunter getting a good advantage over Charlie Sterling, sling blade into the dropkick to the side of the face, but we know that bruiser style that Charlie Sterling has, taking control of the arm of Hunter, wrenching it backwards, just manipulating every bit of the joint and then dropping the knees across the back. However, Lee Hunter tagged in and takes quick advantage, stunning Sterling, going for a pin, but only a 2 count. Sterling getting out and tagging in Nick Riley. Nick Riley now bringing the offense to, I believe it is Lee Hunter still in there. Yes, and a bit of tag team offense from the Smoking Aces sends Lee Hunter to the outside, and Charlie Sterling tries to follow up with a suicide dive but doesn't land, and then a head scissors from Lee Hunter, taking the momentum back into their favour. However, as the tag out happens, Jim Hunter is caught by Nick Riley, who is more aware than him, and drops him with a big suplex. The Hunter's taking the early lead in this match, and then a big scoop DDT usually finishes matches for Jim Hunter, but this time Nick Riley in to break it up. Lee Hunter will answer though with a big springboard dropkick to the face of Nick Riley, and then lining him up here, going for the pile driver onto the top of Nick Riley's head, and it looks like the Hunter brothers have got this one locked up, but Charlie Sterling just manages to get into the ring in time to break up the pin. But as we're looking here, it's going to be a super kick for Lee Hunter that lands on the jaw. Nick Riley in trouble, but Nick Riley manages to stay in this match, getting his shoulder up and off the mat. Now Jim Hunter tagged in, going for that Hurricane Rana, but no, it is countered by Charlie Sterling, who drops him face first from the power bomb position. Nick Riley lining things up, taking out Lee Hunter, and then to the other side of the ring, suicide dive onto Jim Hunter, flying around are these guys right now. Incredible to see. However, the Hunter brothers would swing things back in their favor with a bit of tag team offense, and then Jim Hunter straight to the top using the Swanton Bomb, going for the cover. Charlie Sterling in the world of trouble, but Nick Riley quickly in, not even willing to let a count happen there. Jim Hunter now taking control here, going to go for the backstabber, and Charlie Sterling is in a world of trouble here, but it's not going to be the end. We're going to see Lee Hunter get tagged in, and Lee Hunter going to go for the cover after another super kick, but Charlie Sterling managing to get the shoulder up and then swapping the offense onto Jim Hunter after a failed tag attempt. But we would see as Charlie Sterling climbs to the top, spike pile driver from the Smoking Aces. A world of trouble for the Hunter brothers now, but no, Lee Hunter in quickly to break things up. Now Jim Hunter managing to counter things back, and he's going to hit out of nowhere a backstabber on Nick Riley, and now the Hunter brothers have got the lead once again in this match. Jim Hunter looking to follow up with a big snap suplex, but you can see both men have taken a lot of damage. Jim Hunter can only just about crawl to put the arm on, but Charlie Sterling is more than aware and does not let anything go through there. But you can see both these teams racked in pain, all 4 men wearing low on stamina, but they're not going to lay down easily. They're not going to let this one go, and as Jim Hunter tries to follow in for the offense, he's going to get picked up on the shoulder, and we know what this is. We've seen Nick Riley win matches with this move before. The aeroplane spin, he's gone one way, he's going back the other way, and Jim Hunter is absolutely lost. What happens then? Dumped onto the mat, both men dizzy, but Nick Riley into the cover. Lee Hunter can't get in time, and it is the Smoking Aces claiming 3 points from this battle with the Hunter brothers. So back with me once again, you can see out the Hunter brothers, Lee Hunter having a massive performance, coming in with a 53, Jim Hunter with a 38, Nick Riley with a 48, and Charlie Sterling with a 48, so they both match each other well. The Hunter brothers both got okay initial ratings on their gimmicks, with Lee Hunter getting inadequate but Jim Hunter getting a great, which is weird because they have the same gimmick, but it is what it is. Charlie Sterling and Nick Riley got a tag team specialist bonus, and this match got the crowd buzzing, and that would obviously be our main event and the first 3 points for the Smoking Aces as well. Let's finish this one off and go to the backstage stuff. So we actually get a 51 rating overall from this show, which is absolutely massive, our best show yet. I think we definitely benefited from having less stuff on the show to potentially bring it down in rating. So that is something that we're definitely going to keep in mind going forward. Using less talents, we may have more talents getting annoyed about being left off of shows, but hopefully we can just kind of deal with that as it goes along. And we did allegedly increase our popularity in one region. So dressed in the locker room, we will talk to LA Taylor, because obviously she did pick up an injury, so unfortunately she probably is going to not be able to continue on with us. And then we will also give a nod to, who should we give it to? Maybe Jim Hunter. No, actually we're going to give it to Lee Hunter because he had a very good performance. Where is he? Lee Hunter pointed out, complimented on a great performance, so we'll do that. LA Taylor seems pleased, but I don't think that means anything, and Lee Hunter seemed pleased as well. LA Taylor actually will only have bicep strain for 4 days, so she will be available for the next round. How did we do financially in this one? 2,400 for workers. We did make 294 on ticket sales with 98 on merchandise, so we're cutting into that cost, not by a lot, but we are cutting into it anyway. We do unfortunately lose another 2,300, so we're risking it a bit. Let's see, popularity wise, we haven't actually increased fully by popularity rating, but if we can keep going at shows with 51s, maybe even higher, we shouldn't be too far away. So again, not one that directly affects us, but Yuka Sasaki has actually left AEW. She's only on 130 a month, but obviously lives in the US, so she would unfortunately cost us, I think, about 350, no, 330, around that range. So not something we can afford, but interesting to see her out and about. LA Taylor, as we know, has suffered an injury after a botched move, so she's going to be annoyed about that, which is unfortunate. And Leyland Bryant, who I actually have now found out that these are real people, they just don't have pictures in the game, so if we do sign them, then maybe at some point I will add their pictures. And Luke King Sharp thinks Randall Robinson needs to learn how to sell, and he's not worth pushing until that's addressed. I mean, I wasn't really planning on pushing him anyway, Lou, so back into this. Or is he now out because we swapped him out? Oh no, so if we swap Randall Robinson, can we find him here? Yes, we can, so we can swap Santos back into this one. So that might be actually something that I've just figured for a storyline in the future. But yeah, basically besides from that, all we've got to do is keep powering on to the next battle bracket. Alright, so negative morale wise, we do have Kenny Williams annoyed. Why is he annoyed? I don't even remember. Oh, the Herman Christensen thing. And annoyed that he didn't want to lose at 13th hour. That's kind of just is what it is, to be honest. I think what I want to do is give the character idea to Charlie Sterling, just because I think it will benefit him more, which it has. He's now not on this page anymore. Des Robinson is annoyed at the fact that he's got a poor new gimmick, which is a staff member because he's a referee. So I'm not really sure what it is that Des wants me to do about that, because you're literally a referee. I'm not going to give you a new gimmick idea for being a referee. So yeah, that's a bit of a confusing one for me, but yeah, he's annoyed about it at the moment. So did we ask Charlie to turn to road agent? Yes, we did, so that's fine, that's covered. Anything else, anybody else that we want to try and snap on to those road agent roles or any other roles while we've got the chance? June Lee, bit disappointing that you've decided to injure someone. We could actually even ask Laura to do it. She's got No, her experience is quite low, actually. Wait, actually, what's Charlie Sterling's? Oh, he's got 100 experience. Yeah, no, maybe not Laura, then. I forgot it was experience. For some reason, I was thinking that it was reputation instead. So, no go on that one, I don't think. I think Riley's up there, but not high enough up there. Will Tracy obviously is already on road agenting for us. I think besides from that, that's everything else. I don't think we have much else to do. What I am going to do is I'm going to pre-book the next matches so that it is obviously available there, and maybe that will help us draw a little bit more. But yeah, we're basically just simming still otherwise. So we have an interesting decision to make here, because I've just received an email about Will Cruise's contract ending. Now, we haven't really used Will Cruise to the capacity that maybe I thought. I was waiting more for a face champion to come along so that we could potentially use him more. I was kind of testing between him and Krieger who would be the guy to kind of take things forward and be the next challenger. Obviously, it didn't really end up panning out to be either, because Krieger had to leave and Will Cruise, as of yet, hasn't stepped into that role. But he has been pretty much consistently in that small rivalry they had. He was pretty much outperformed by them, or by Krieger, the whole time, should I say. So he's a bit of a strange one for me, because I don't necessarily know if he is world championship material, because sometimes in he seems to perform his best in tag team matches, because you see here in the Herman Christensen match he pulled in a 44, and then the other random tag team match that we put him in, oh no, that was the Herman, where he teamed, with Herman Christensen, he pulled in a 43. So maybe we find Will Cruise a long-term tag team partner and move him over to the tag team ranks instead of the world heavyweight ranks, or the undisputed British heavyweight ranks. So for us right now, he is on 40. I think he wants to go up to 50. He is based in the Midlands, so there's no travel on his contract at the moment. So I think with it only being, we kind of need to keep him in as a body, I think. And I think maybe try and find him a tag team partner. So I might just offer him this contract, and yeah, then just keep him around for that fact. Does he have any tag teams? That's one with Blake and Esme and Jane. Who's Blake? Maybe we could work on getting him a tag team at some point and putting him in the tag team ranks. But for now, I think we will offer him a contract he can stay around for at least the time being. Another contract expiry coming up here. We have got Charlie Sterling's contract coming up. Now, I do have some big plans for Charlie Sterling. Actually, David Finlay has just left New Japan as well, which is very interesting. I'd love for him to, if he would move over from Japan. I can't afford to pay his flights and his, but he could be a very good signing considering he's currently unemployed. We'll have to keep an eye on where he ends up, because he could be pretty huge for us all. No, we can see popularity wise pretty big across the board, mostly in Japan, but does have good ratings in England as well. And obviously his stats are insane, to be honest. Does have some knee damage, 79%, which isn't terrible, but he could be one that we need to keep an eye on, because he could be a good signing for the future if he does move. So yeah, Charlie Sterling's contract is coming up now, and like I said, we do currently have Charlie Sterling in our tournament. He does want 180 up from the, I think we're paying him 100 at the moment. We're paying him 80 at the moment, so he wants 100 more plus his travel as well. So that would take him up to over 200 we'd be paying Charlie Sterling. So this may change the idea that I was going for, because I don't know necessarily if it's going to be an affordable option for us going forward. We do need to offer him a contract extension for at least the duration of the tournament that we're currently running. So I'll offer him a 6-month deal, I think, and see if we can bring this down at all. What if we put merch up? Go 110. No, 120. Still not interested. Maybe we could offer him a signing bonus of... I don't like it. Fine. He wants more merch. We'll offer him the contract, but yeah, that definitely has changed my plans, because I don't think paying over 200 for Charlie Sterling is something we can currently afford to do. So I may have to change my plans when it comes to that. Crew will be staying, as we already knew that was coming around the corner. So yeah, maybe now different plan needs to be put in place for Charlie Sterling's future at the company. I actually think one thing I might change about this as well is instead I might have it on a 2-week basis instead of every month, just so that we get through it a little bit quicker, because I think at the moment it's obviously stalling off a fair bit, and like a month between tournament matches is quite a long time to wait. So I think if we have it every 2 weeks, it may cost us more in the long run, but then we can get through it a bit quicker. So I may schedule one more for the end of this month, just there. So the first one will be the 1st March, then the end of the month. First and end of the month, I think, rotating, just to get through it a little bit quicker, because otherwise I think it's going to last way too long. So the next one will now be in 9 days, and I think that should work better, ideally. So we will agree to this Charlie Sterling contract. I'm not thrilled about it, to be honest, because it's going to cost us a lot, which is the opposite from what we're trying to do right now. But I think it's something that obviously we need to have right now, just because we're trying to get this tournament done, so it kind of needs Charlie Sterling in it. TK Cooper has now moved to Central Europe, which I wasn't planning on signing him, but if I was, that's quite annoying, because that's more travel. Right, so it's show day. Let's see what's going on. Do we want to give anyone the night off? Oh, do you know what? I've got to check if everybody's here. I can think Golden Boy's here at least, so that should mean most of the others. LA's here. Sapphire, Laura. Yeah, it looks like everybody's here, so it's fine. I don't think I am going to give anyone the night off, actually. Let's see what we're looking at. Predicted 100 fans, which would be our first time drawing 100 fans. If we do manage to do that, probably will end up being less, because whenever we're predicted higher, we get less. Whenever we're predicted less, we get higher. So generic venue is what we'll be sticking with anyway. Booking team meeting wise, we've got 114, so we did get less this time. Still not due to any issues, so we'll just go for creative finishes this time round. We've got a safe bet on the Zosiah match, which isn't great because I don't think he's actually going to be on the card. Then we've got a big gamble, which we won't use because big gambles aren't obviously very usable, and then we can't get anything else with that, so that will leave. Randall Robinson entertained the locker room by organising a poker tournament, which is nice from Randall. Herman Christensen came to you backstage with an idea for a creative finish that's been added to your stored finishes. June Lee and LA Taylor trained, and the same 9 from last show trained as well. June Lee and Nick Riley had a blazing argument outside the venue, which isn't great, because that means that June Lee is starting to have an effect on our backstage morale, which is obviously not what we want. Who should we pull a rib on? Let's go ahead and try it on... let's go Uwada. I failed to do anything, which is fine. Alright, let me book out the show and then we'll get into it. Right, so this is the card that we're going to run. There's a couple things in here that are a little bit random because I was kind of... didn't want to book everyone necessarily because of me lowering the time. But yeah, I've kind of fit enough in. We've got a women's tournament hype angle to start off the show, just with them talking about the next rounds after tonight's match. We then have a 4v4 pre-show match. We open things up with an interview angle with Will Cruz before the first match, which is Ika Navarro versus Leon Cage versus Oliver Carter versus Yu Owada. Then Charles Crowley and Elijah will take on Golden Boy and Francisco. Nightshade versus Sapphire Reed in the last quarterfinal round before we find out who moves on to face, I think it's LA Taylor on that side of the bracket. Then we have the Purge versus the Smoking Aces, and our main event tonight will be the Hunter Brothers taking on the Stunners. But yeah, that is everything. We're apparently going to be penalised for not having enough segments. I don't know what to do about that. Do I move this up? I'd have to move something down. Alright, so I've shaved some minutes off some stuff because I think the women's tournament hype can be shorter. And some of the matches could be slightly shorter. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to have the 4v4 to open things up. Then we'll have the hype. Then the 4-way. Cruise angle. And then the other matches as they were in the same order. We do have one warning, which is just about not having a commentator for the 4v4 match. Unfortunately, Luke King Sharp, who our commentator is in that match. It shouldn't affect us because obviously we don't have a broadcasting deal or anything like that. So the commentary isn't going out per se, so should be fine. So let's get into the card. Right, so in our pre-show match we do see a 39 for this one. Herman Christian, JJ Gales, Desire and Kenny Williams have defeated Randall Robinson, Tate Mayfair's, Luke King Sharp and Sky Smithson after Desire submitted Randall Robinson. This was pretty much me just throwing in the bodies that were kind of being left over. I think a couple people even still got left off the card, so we might have some issues there. Sky Smithson I thought could probably hang in here, so it's fine. Ratings wise, Kenny got a 40, Zazaya got a 53, JJ got a 44, Herman Christensen with a 16, Sky Smithson with a 38, so she was up there. Luke King Sharp 42, Tate Mayfair 43, Randall Robinson 13. Golden Boy Santos was also at ringside obviously for Randall Robinson and did some good work there, so nothing to write home about, but a decent start. Rain Sharp run through the contenders in the ring for after tonight's match in the semi-finals. We do have 99 people in the building as well, so one more than last time, but one less than what was predicted. Luke King Sharp was very poor when trying to improvise dialogue, which isn't great. It was only a 2-minute angle, so I was hoping that wouldn't be a problem, but clearly I wasn't necessarily right about that. In our first match though, we do pull in a 43 in a superb wrestling match and a decent crowd reaction. Leon Cage has defeated Ika Navarro, Oliver Carter and Yu Owada in an eliminations match. The order of elimination was Ika Navarro first, then Oliver Carter, then finally Yu Owada. So Leon Cage and Yu Owada being the final two in there. I was trying to get Yu Owada over in this match, however Ika Navarro and Oliver Carter had a problem with the fact that a young lion was going to go over, so we may have to change his gimmick before we can do that. But it made sense for Oliver Carter to win this. However, he has, I think, already had 1 or 2 attempts, so I wanted to give it to somebody else. Leon Cage obviously had a decent match against Kenny Williams, but hasn't faced Ozaya yet. So you can see Yu Owada was the second best performer, which is the one why I wanted to give it to him, but we may have to change his gimmick first. Oliver Carter is the obvious choice to be next, but not yet, basically. He will be probably at some point, but not yet. Leon Cage was the second lowest performer, with Ika Navarro being the worst performer in the match, but that kind of is how I thought it was going to work out. Ideally I wanted it to be you, but we can make it work down the line, I think. The next segment is the Will Cruz segment. It only gets a 22, so it doesn't actually turn out to be that good. But Will Cruz says that Amari can hide from him in the tag team tournament all he wants, but eventually you have to stand face to face with him and find out why he's known as a monster. I just want to kind of do something with Will Cruz. I feel like he's been kind of sat on the sidelines for a little bit now. I don't want to release him because I think there is something there, but yeah, I don't know. I kind of need more time to work out whether I think he can be something or not. Obviously, I said there's a potential if we can find him a tag team partner, but that also depends on finding a tag team partner. There's a lot going on, basically, so I think this gives him something to do for the time being while I kind of try and work out what the end game is with him. And also, the Undisputed division for us right now probably is the weakest, so I think it's the one we can afford to experiment with the most, so that's why we're going down that route. Next match is a 44, which is very nice to see. Golden Boy and Francisco defeat Charles Crowley and Elijah when Golden Boy pinned Elijah. It is designed so they can steal the show, and they have done that. Elijah got a 32 in this one. Charles Crowley got a 43. David Francisco actually got a 48, so he is actually performing way above the level that I expected from him, with Golden Boy bringing in a 36. Which actually, Golden Boy, the second worst performer overall, I thought he would be much higher up there, so maybe it's an idea to look towards these two as the ones that we continue on with at some point, but that's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, Golden Boy and Francisco get back on their winning ways after Randall Robinson failed with stepping in to cover Golden Boy's absence. Next match after that, Nightshade has defeated Sapphire Reed by pinfall with the STO following interference from Sky Smithson. It was designed again so that it could go all out. Nightshade actually only got a 37 to Sapphire Reed's 47. There is a plan, so just bear that in mind. It's a 45 overall. There's a plan that I have with Sapphire Reed. It's kind of along the same lines that I have with Chantel Jordan. I just want to get them reps so that we can build their stock a bit more before I put them back. I think if I just keep putting them back in against Laura and they keep getting beaten, eventually that's just going to become stale and nobody's going to want to see that anymore. So there's a plan here. There's a reason why she lost. Sky Smithson also is the partner of the person that she would face in the next round, LA Taylor. I was originally going to have LA herself interrupt the match or interfere in the match, but I decided to switch it to her partner because I thought Sky Smithson would be annoyed herself about being knocked out, and then that could play into something down the road, basically. But yeah, 45, that's a good rating, to be fair. Alright, next up we have the Smoking Aces defeating the Purge in 10 minutes 32 when Nick Riley submitted Crowbar, so good performance from them. Nick Riley getting a 50, Charlie Sterling actually getting a 52 in that one, Crowbar with a 30, Stevie James with a 35, gets a 46 overall. Obviously we know that Charlie Sterling and Nick Riley have the tag team specialist, which is helpful for us, and Crowbar is apparently getting better as gimmick, which is, I guess, good for him. But yeah, that advances that a little bit more. Obviously the Smoking Aces, one of our strongest tag teams right now, so it's going to be interesting to see how they finish the rest of this. And then in the main event, which is a 41, which is slightly down than the others, which was around the level that I think is okay, but the Hunter brothers have defeated the Stunners in 30 minutes 30 when Lee Hunter pinned Levi Muir with a quick cradle after a bad miscommunication between Levi Muir and Amari, and it was designed to tell a specific story, which obviously is something that we have been building for a while. Jim Hunter getting a 37, Lee Hunter 47, Levi Muir 31, and Amari 39. So Levi Muir obviously bringing up the back as we pretty much expect, but that's why we put him in the tag team to be covered. Amari not performing quite as highly as I thought he may be able to, but it's still working for what I'm trying to do, basically. So that's going to be the end of this show. Let's move on to the post-match stuff. So we do get a 40 for this one, so it's not quite as high rated as last time. Don't think we had like that big standout match that we had last time round, but it's a decent rating overall, I would say. Above 30, above the 30s range, I would say, for us is pretty good all in all, so we will definitely take it. Let's move on, see who we're going to praise. We will praise Sapphire Reed in this one. So compliment her for a good performance, and also I think maybe Oliver Carter, just because I don't want him to get disgruntled with us. Sapphire Reed was pleased with his speech, so she should get a morale boost off of that one. Oliver Carter seemed pleased, so he won't get anything. We do lose 2,850 for that show, which obviously will be probably mostly down to Charlie Sterling's contract, which isn't great because it means we can lose a lot more money. This may go a lot more red before it starts going green. But what? We don't even... What? We didn't even get a popularity recap for that. Because there wasn't any changes in our popularity. So maybe running the show every week, or every 2 weeks, sorry, isn't actually helping us right now. Which is annoying because I thought that would actually have a positive, not a negative. Right, so I think with that in mind, this experiment isn't going to work the way that I wanted it to. So I think we are gonna have to take this back to every month, because if we're getting, I think there's a hidden like stat where people lose, with fans lose interest basically, and if we get, why can't, oh, I'm on the right thing. If we're getting that now, then obviously that's going to be a massive negative for us. So I think I'd rather run the one show and guarantee that that's not going to be happening. So we'll put the next one on Saturday the 11th, I think, and just go for the one show for now, just because otherwise I don't think we can afford to deal with losing popularity, considering if we're not gaining popularity and we're only at 3, we're definitely going to go out of business, because we won't be gaining anything, only at 3, not gaining popularity. That would be a big problem for us. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add besides from that. I'll be honest, I am worried about our money situation now. It wasn't something that was concerning me too much, so I did have a plan laid out, but I am starting to feel as though maybe there is a little bit of an issue going on with how that may be going forward. But I'm going to pre-book the next match out, or next show out, so that that's ready to go, and then we will just fast forward to that probably. So right now it just seems to be a bad time to be a British company, because as you can see, North is also on the brink of a company that could be about to fail, which obviously they're only the other, let me try that out with real words, they're the other company that's still alive in the UK at the moment. Obviously RevPro were also 81 in the hole, we're 31 in the hole. So yeah, we're almost 40 in the hole. So now with North also in trouble, it looks like BritRes Revival may be in a bit of trouble right now, with a lot of talents at the moment going across the TNT. However, they're also in trouble. So not really sure how possible it is for us to survive. I don't know. This is very confusing right now. I'm hoping that we can just still turn it around at some point. But yeah, it's looking a little bit like we might be in trouble. But let's hope that's not the case, because that would be a very sad ending to this playthrough. Oh wow, so very interesting one here. Lyra Valkyria has actually left WWE. She hasn't renewed. I would absolutely love to bring her in, but for 800 per show, I just don't think that's something we can do. If we do ever financially recover, that is going to be a very good option should she not get rehired. But yeah, that's huge. I may just at some point bite the bullet and just bring her in if I see other companies going for her on exclusives, just to see if we can get one match out of her. But yeah, for now, we're not going to be able to do that, but we will keep an eye out. Daz Black is now relocated to Ireland, so that doesn't really help us at all. Might have brought him back if he had moved further down. Bianca Belair joined C4 in their alliance. Zachary Wentz and Priscilla Kelly got married. RevPro have been declared bankrupt, so they will be closed now. So there is this isn't good. This is not good at all. There's going to be a lot of talents that are now out of contracts that may... that's actually annoying, right? Because I think if I had waited, maybe I could have gotten Charlie Sterling for cheaper. because Rev Pro are now out of business. Oh, this is an interesting one actually, because Uwawada was with Rev Pro on Excursion, and actually now Zozia's only working for us as well. So I wonder if at some point we could potentially get Zia to move over, because that would be a huge money saver. But yeah, Uwawada obviously was on Excursion with Progress and Rev Pro, I'm pretty sure. Now both them going out of business, he only works for us. So I wonder what that means for his Excursion now. I really wish there was a way for me to find out about his Excursion and when he's due to go back. I have also set him to change to a new gimmick so that we can start trying to use him in some bigger angles. Alright, so a couple more things coming in here. Tate Mayfair's is now up to muscular, which is nice to see. Randall Robinson has gone from average to toned as well. Has that affected his star quality at all? It usually takes a little bit to come in. He's at 67 star quality at the moment though. Don't mean to do compare, I meant to do track. Star quality 65, sorry. So he is, his star quality is actually pretty decent all in all. It's just not great in the ring. He's got a lot to learn in the ring. He's got a lot of promise, but not quite there as of yet. But he is now up to average. Julie is now gained some weight, so she's up to 169 after bulking up her muscle mass significantly. So that's nice to see from her. Her star quality is at 83 again, so we've got very promising young talents coming through. Wait, hold on, what? Her last track, her star quality was 74, now it's 83. That's absolutely huge from her. She just needs to get slightly better in ring again, and hopefully that will help. We do have some bad news, however, because Josh Bevan is off to tour. He will be on the road for 3 months. Obviously, he's currently part of our booking team. So we will be out without one of our bookers for 3 months, which means we probably, well not probably, we are most definitely going to lose booking quality. So I'm tempted to maybe bring someone in to cover his time off. Then we have 2 more contracts coming up with Leon Cage and Scott Bell. Leon Cage, I think, is he currently on 20 for us or 30, something like that? Scott Bell, what is he looking for? He's looking at 80 at the moment. I think we obviously do want to keep Scott Bell around, with him being one of our best wrestlers at the moment. So let's take a look at Leon. Currently on 40 and he wants to go up to 50, and we wouldn't have to play travel. So I think if he's happy, I'll try and lock that in for a 5-year on 50, which he will be happy with. So hopefully that will be fine. What is Scott Bell currently on? He's in Northern England, so we're paying travel for him. He's on 60 a show at the moment. And I think it was 80 that he wants to go up to. Yeah, 80 he wants to go up to. So that's about 130, I believe. Which isn't particularly what I want to pay. If we can maybe put this at 60. 10% off from a 3-year. What's his travel covered? He wants the 80. If we went 70, he wants 80. So I think for now we'll offer him a 4-year and give him that, because it's not an obscene amount of money. So I think that is feasible. There are some contracts that we're gonna probably have to get rid of in the long run. The likes of Charlie Sterling probably being the biggest one, and maybe now as well Oliver Carter might have to be one that we think about letting go. Nick Riley and stuff like that. Luke King Sharp maybe even one we have to think about, but I think he should be feasible still. So yeah, there's a bit of working out to do again, and a bit of trimming, I would say. So I thought with all this contract stuff coming up, we'll take a look at a couple other contracts we might have coming up soon. We do have Golden Boy Santos coming up next month, so I think what we'll do is we'll probably offer him a contract now, just to see what he currently wants. So we currently have have him on 50 per show. He wants to go up to 60, which isn't too bad, to be fair. I might try and offer him a 5-year at 60. See how that goes, and he will accept that, so that's good. I'll go through and see if there's anyone else. I won't keep you guys on camera. So actually, just looking into things, Nick Riley, we've still got 3 months left on his contract at the moment, as it expires in July. However, I did go just see what he would want. We currently have him on 90. He would want 130 per show. So at the minute, the price of him and Charlie Sterling isn't something we can actually afford should we need to renew them. So it kind of throws a banner in the works of what I was doing. I may try and see now that Rev Pro's gone out of business if we can get them for cheaper at any point. But at the moment, the tag team division is going through the ringer already, and it's only just close to its inception. Oliver Carter's contract is up in May, so that is next month. So I don't think he is really good, but I just don't think at the minute that I can afford to keep bringing him back. So unless he's willing to move closer, which he isn't, I don't think we can afford to bring him back in. Also, what would he be asking for now? So only 170 per show. If we could get him maybe without travel, I'm just going to see if that is possible. I'll offer him the 5-year 170. We'll give him 25% and no travel. He would want his travel covered. So yeah, we may have to let his go as well. Everyone else we're kind of fine with, so we're just going to keep simming ahead. We do have Battle Bracket 3 tomorrow night, so we'll probably see you at that for the next thing that we do. Right, so here's showtime. Again, I don't think we're going to give anyone the night off, so we'll just skip that. Expecting 99 fans again for this one. So again, it will be a case of whether that is actually true or not. Still falling at the moment in terms of economy and wrestling industry as well. So still a lot of work to do here at the moment. Not a lot of things going our way. No pre-show incidents. We do get 1, 2, 4 this time. Obviously soon we will see Josh Bevan leaving, which is really unfortunate because at the moment he's generating 43 energy. So yeah, it's going to be a big chunk. We're definitely going to... I just accidentally skipped that. Oh well, never mind then. Any locker room incidents? Got training for Julie and LA Taylor. Same for training for the same 9 guys. Do we try and medal? No, I think we'll leave that for now. Let's try and pull a rib again just to see who we could potentially get with one. We'll go Herman Christensen. It's failed to provide anything at all, so that's fine. Let's book out this card and then I'll show you guys what we've got going. Alright, so here's the card again for this one. Again, we're opening up with a 4v4 before we have an angle with Leon. Actually, let me swap this one. Then we'll have LA Taylor versus Laura Di Matteo to open the show. Leon Cage will then have an angle. Golden Boy and Francesco will take on the Purge. Chantel Jordan versus Nightshade will follow that. Charles Crowley and Elijah will then take on the Hunters Brothers before Smoke and Aces and the Stunners main event the show. Let's get into it. So in the first match, we open up with a 38 as we see Herman Christensen, Ika Navarro, JJ Gale and Kenny Williams defeat Zosiah, Will Cruz, Tate Mayfairs and Randall Robinson when Kenny Williams pinned Randall Robinson with a swinging DDT. This is just a way to get Herman Christensen and Randall Robinson a couple reps in there. Where is Herman Christensen? He got 15 and Randall got 12. As well as getting these guys on the card just because I can't fit them right now. As I said in the last show as well, we were speculated to get 100 in the last show. We got 99. We're speculated to get 99 in this show, and this time we got 101. So yeah, it doesn't seem to make any sense. Then open up the show with a huge 58. Which is a massive way to start the show with superb wrestling and great heat. Laura Di Matteo has defeated LA Taylor by submission with the Rings of Saturn. During the match, we also saw Sky Smithson accidentally hit LA Knight and Sapphire Reed distract Laura Di Matteo. Now, let me just clarify what happened there. I might even put highlights of it. So what happened is Sky Smithson ran out to try and help LA Taylor against Laura Di Matteo, when Sapphire Reed would be there to make the save. What would happen then on the outside is Sapphire and Smithson would brawl before LA came out to try and help her tag team partner, but LA would unfortunately get dropped by her partner as she tried to hit Smithson, and then we would see Sapphire Reed fight with Sky Smithson, sending her out into the crowd. We thought that would be it, as LA Taylor would get back into the ring. Di Matteo would try to go for the backcracker, but that wouldn't be it, because Sapphire Reed would still be down at ringside after she was damaged somewhat from her fight, which would distract Laura Di Matteo. She would ask her why she's out at ringside, leading to LA Taylor almost getting a roll-up victory, but instead it would be countered into the rings of Saturn, and Laura Di Matteo would win the match. Did not expect this one to get a 58, if I'm honest. LA Taylor got a 39, Laura Di Matteo did get a 58, and the creative finish that Laura Di Matteo had suggested to us was a success, so that probably helped boost it. Laura Di Matteo also makes defense number 6 of the FWA Women's title. Obviously, every match, as I said before, that Laura Di Matteo is in this tournament will be a title match, which is the semi-finals and what will be the final now. And Laura Di Matteo will advance to the final, which I'm sure most of us expected her to do so. Then, in a actually very good angle that ends up getting a 40, we do see Leon Cage say that he doesn't blame anyone for leaving his name out of the potential winners for the 4-way, because he even started to doubt, but he knows that he pushed the former champion, being Kenny Williams, to his limits, and that this time he won't just be one step away, he'll be the new champ, when from out of nowhere Yu Owada blindsides Cage, dropping him, as there seems to be a new attitude about Yu Owada, and that also advanced the Chase storyline, and this will give us the chance to change the gimmick that we have for Yu Owada and give him his new gimmick, which is Owada-san, which I can't actually remember fully what it was, but I'll give you the full breakdown after the show. Next match, we would see Golden Boy and Francisco defeat the Purge when David Francisco submitted Crowbar. This would get a 41, and actually David Francisco carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. He does get a 47. Golden Boy with a 34, Stevie James with a 37, and Crowbar with a 31. So I think I'm definitely leaning towards keeping Francisco around. I was just going to bring him in for the tournament and then maybe let him go, but he is actually very good and performing very well for us, and actually kind of dragging Golden Boy Santos up, to be honest. Santos not performing to the level that maybe I thought he would be. Then a 45 in the match where we see Nightshade defeat Chantal Jordan by pinfall after illegally using the ropes for leverage. This was made so that both could go all out. Nightshade didn't have a great performance in the last match, but she does get 42 for this one, and she will advance to the finals to face the FWA Women's Champion. Chantal Jordan got a 39, a 45 overall for this segment. So again, pretty decent ratings so far. Let's see if we can keep it up. We do get a 50 for the next match, which is huge again. My God, he drones on, doesn't he? We're back for some more action once again, and this time we've got Crowley and Elijah taking on the Hunter brothers, who last time we saw in commentary action suffered a crushing defeat to the Smoking Aces, so they need to look for a bounce back win here in this one. But early doors, it would be Elijah bringing the offense to Jim Hunter with this fold out suplex, as you see him drop Jim Hunter on his back, but inexperienced in tag team matches, he allows for Lee Hunter to get the tag in, and then the running head scissors from Lee Hunter would catch Elijah unawares. However, back and forth between these two would lead to Elijah locking in an STF very close to the ropes, but Lee Hunter instead opts just to break out with a big elbow to the jaw of Elijah. Crowley tries to tag in, but he would get caught with a fisherman's by Lee Hunter, who starts bringing the offense to both men. Elijah getting out of the ring, but the redirect springboard dropkick does connect with Crowley's chin, dropping him onto the mat for a 2 count. the offense would continue after a tag for both teams. It would be Elijah once again hitting a massive suplex powerbomb, a very impressive move to hit. However, again, he would allow the tag to happen, and it would be Lee Hunter flying in this time to continue the offense as we have seen once before, but not this time, no pin. But we would see him follow up with that big pile driver that we saw him use against the Smoking Aces. However, not to much effect, but a tag out to Crowley. Crowley would start to change the offense of this match into the favour of Elijah and himself. And you can see here, they're just starting to grind out the Hunter brothers. Big spine buster by Elijah would lead to a 2 count. However, Jim Hunter would get across to intercept things, and then a dangerous move on the outside here sees Elijah suplexing Lee Hunter neck first into the barricade. However, the tags would come through. Both teams would freshen things up. However, once again, we would see that big suplex powerbomb from Elijah to Jim Hunter, and he would go for the cover this time for a 1 count. Unbelievably, Jim Hunter showing great strength to stay alive in this one, but dragged up to his feet with a ripcord and a big knee to the side of the face of Jim Hunter. However, Hunter not staying down for long, changing the offense around and then hitting a big swanton to try and wrap this match up. But it wouldn't be. Elijah still had enough in the tank to roll his shoulder off the mat. Lee Hunter getting in, but getting caught by a poison rana from Elijah, who was having a very impressive match in this one, I have to say so myself. It was somewhat unexpected, but what would be expected is another suplex from Elijah, dropping Lee Hunter on his face and then continuing his offense on the other Hunter brother onto Jim Hunter, as he would look for a big outside dive here, and he would land it. Impressive high flying shown there by Elijah. However, the offense would be stopped as Lee Hunter would come in and he would hit the big tombstone on Elijah, completely swinging offense around. You can see going for the cover. 1, 2, Crowley can't get in, and it would be 3 points on the board for the Hunter brothers. They do get their bounce back victory. And in a bout with great wrestling and good heat, the Hunter brothers have defeated Charles Crowley and Elijah when Lee Hunter pinned Charles Crowley with a scooping reverse DDT. It was designed that they could go all out, and they have done that. Lee Hunter was head and shoulders above everybody else. Elijah struggled to keep up with the performance, but that's fine. Elijah only getting a 28 in this one. Charles Crowley up there with a 43. Jim Hunter with a 42. And Lee Hunter with a 53. So the Hunter brothers are bringing something huge to this tag team tournament, which is exactly the reason that we brought them in. Now I'm thinking that this probably should have main evented, because though I know the next match will get a decent rating, I don't think it will get a 50. It will get a 47 though, so it's not too bad, to be honest. And about that had superb wrestling and great heat. The Smoking Aces have defeated the Stunners in 11 minutes 38 when Nick Riley submitted Amari after interference from June Lee. Oh, because she's his manager, isn't she? I forgot about that. I literally forgot that she was with the Smoking Aces. But yeah, so interference there, leading to Amari ended up being submitted by Nick Riley. And 2 51s from the Smoking Aces side of things there. Levi Morgan at 32, Amari with a 38. The Brotherhood Reborn storyline has advanced with this one and gained heat as well. The face turn stuff we're not really too interested in at the moment. Amari seemed off his game, which is unfortunate. June Lee did good work at ringside. But this, as you can see, Nick Riley does have a win over the FWA Undisputed British Heavyweight Champion. So he now has a claim for a championship match at some point against Amari. Obviously, currently they're locked into this tournament, but something to keep in mind on the Smoking Aces side, that they do have a match against Amari for the title in their back pocket now. Let's see what happens with the post-show stuff. So we do get a 47 and we do increase our popularity in one region. You can see I definitely should have had this higher up the card, but it's actually a great way to start the show. It's a pretty consistent card overall, nothing dropping below 30 in the main card, which is great to see. And even the pre-show was high 30s, so pretty decent in front of 101 people. Hopefully it'll be enough to keep us growing at some point. So locker room wise, we will give a shout out to Chantel Jordan. I know I tend to do the same people quite a lot, but it's the people that I want to keep aside, really. I'll point her out as a good example. And on the other side of things, we will shout out who lost on the other side. I don't even remember. I think we really need to shout out Elijah. I actually don't know who to put over on this one. Did Kenny Williams? I think Kenny Williams might. No, Kenny Williams won, I think. Maybe we'll just do Amari and we'll point him out as a good example. Both seemed pleased, so I don't think anything's going to come from that. Do only lose 2,399 in this one, so we're just hitting that minus 40 grand mark now. Ticket sales up to 303, merchandise up to 101. So we are making headways into the amount of money that we're spending. Not quite through it yet though, and we do go up to 4 popularity in Southern England now, which is going to be big for us going forward because we need that popularity to keep growing as much as it can right now. So Leon Cage and Scott Bell are ready to re-sign, so we will offer those out obviously because we want to keep them around. I have actually pre-booked Leon Cage versus Ozaya for the next Ascension show that we do, purely because I think at the moment the battle bracket shows are going to be pretty booked up until we finish the women's side of things, which obviously that will be at the next battle bracket, because then we will see the finals of that match done. Financially wise, we do up to $3.45 per month now for estimated sponsorship, so that's a nice increase. I think we should also make slightly more from merchandise, though I don't know if it gives you the breakdown properly here. No, it doesn't. I have to put that through the algorithm that I have to see if that makes any difference. So there's ways forward. It's not the most positive right now, I would say, but there are ways forward. You can see the contracts we really need to cut, but our own contract are Charlie Sterling's and Oliver Carter, I would say, are costing us the most. Kenny Williams, like I said, I do have plans for Kenny Williams, so I'm okay with his at the moment. Lee Hunter, I have a couple of things. I'm happy to have Lee Hunter around because he's performing very well. Laura Di Matteo, obviously we want to keep around as well. Nick Riley, his contract probably is going to expire because we just don't have the money to offer him out what he's going to want in the future, but there is a way forward still. I was feeling slightly doom and gloom last time out, or earlier when we saw the other companies go out of business. I was thinking maybe there's not much hope for us, but I think there is. I think there's definitely a way that we can keep this going. We just have to be smart about how we do it, basically. May is, to be honest, this is going to be like completely open now, isn't it? Because no one's really working anywhere else because everyone's unemployed. Right, so we'll put it on the first Saturday of May then, I reckon, because we're pretty free to do what we need unless Eve or someone decides to put a show on. I don't know if I'm going to continue. I may leave this one here and then come and finish this at a different point, because I'm not sure how long this is going to be as of yet. I'm recorded for almost an hour at this point now, so I may need to stop this and go forward. Our backstage is actually still good. They are worried about our finances, but yeah, backstage wise everything else is still good. Golden Boy Santos is going to re-sign with us, which is nice to see. Bianca Belair has actually been loaned back to WWE from TNA after she left. She is currently the Knockouts World Champion, so it is interesting to see how many companies she currently works for. Like, what's it? So WWE, TNA, MLW, DPW, C4 as well. Like, she works for a ridiculous amount of companies at the moment, but getting out there getting money, so can't scoff at it, I would say. Yeah, nothing else to fill you in on our side. So an interesting one. Johnny Gargano has actually joined AJPW now and is now based in Kanto, Japan. So yeah, AJPW actually making a few pretty big name signings all in all. I may even try and get a bit of a alliance with them. I don't know if they would ally with us right now, obviously, because we are a small company, and I don't actually know if they are a part of... Oh, WXW are now part of the... literally can't think of what... The Forbidden Door Alliance. That's new. I hadn't seen that before. I haven't actually checked these, so maybe it's something I should be checking on, because, yeah, WXW now part of them. National Wrestling Alliance has got International Wrestling Revolution Group, so that's interesting. See, All Japan are in there, so I don't think we'd actually be able to align with them based on that, but we could have conversations with them, I guess. A couple of other ones as well. Lee Hunter has now gone up to muscular. Crowbar's gone up to muscular. Rampage Brown's actually gone from bulky to a beast, which isn't great for him overall. We do have 12 days, so I may just do this last show and then potentially leave this session here. I think what my plan is to get all of these done within these couple of... I can't think of what I'm trying to say. Try and get all these shows done within these couple of months in this video, because I don't think there's a lot of stuff in between that we really need to discuss, so I think we should be able to do it that way. And I also may then go and have a look and see if any companies want to talk to us. Another interesting WWE departure. Sorry, I was just sitting up in my chair. Tyler Bate will be leaving WWE as well. Again, not someone we can currently sign, but interesting that he is going to be free. Oliver Carter's contract is coming up for us. Again, I just don't think there's anything we can do about that, really. I think we probably have to accept that we just can't afford to keep using him right now. North have been given a warning about their money situation. They're in a lot better standing than us at the moment, so that doesn't bode well for us. Same with Choco Pro. They're in much better stead than us. Same with Ice Ribbon. A lot of companies seem to be going out of business in this save, and I'm wondering if it's just the save, or like if we've just gotten really unlucky in this save with how things are going at the moment. Yeah, it is a bit worrying, but I still think that there's possibilities for us to recover. I don't know whether I'm just being deluded about that fact, but I believe that there's ways that we can make this still work. Right, show day once again, no nights off. What have we got here? 101 fans, so we're probably going to end up with 99 at this rate because of how things keep going, but we will keep generic for now. Booking team, we should have a shit ton here because I didn't use any last time out, so we have actually got 2-4-1 this time. Like I said, because I didn't use any last time. I think next month will be Josh Bevan's last show before he goes on tour. I'm going to grab a character idea and then go creative finishes. Won't use a big gamble. Near certainty is huge. Safe bet for Golden Voice Santos, that could be big. And another near certainty, that's big as well. So some decent ones there. Any locker room incidents? RJ Singh has turned up and asked if we might be able to use him tonight. He's an unemployed worker. I'm going to have to say, unfortunately, there isn't a spot because there just isn't. Sapphire, Reed and Laura Di Matteo were getting on well backstage. Their good mood lifted everyone's spirits. That's good to see. More training for June Lee and LA Taylor. Only 8 students training this time, so one of our male workers not training. We'll pop and inspire for this one, just to get everybody going. Did I pre-book this out? I didn't pre-book this out, so let me now go ahead and go in and book this properly. Right, so this is our card for this final bit of my recording. Probably not the final bit that you see, but we will start off the show with a 5v5 match, which is just a random mash of talents that we had. Getting the young lions in there with a bunch of talent. It's intergender as well, so all variety of people in there. We then have Kenny Williams taking on Will Cruz on the pre-show. Now this is my test to see who out of Kenny Williams and Will Cruz I'm going to push once this tournament is over, because obviously it's getting to that point where we have to make decisions post-tournament. We will then start the show off with the FWA Cruiserweight Championship match, Josiah against Leon Cage. Then there will be an angle to follow that. Golden Boy and Francisco will then take on the Smoking Aces. The Hunter Brothers will take on Purge. Charles Crowley and Elijah will take on the Stunners, before we round the night off with the women's tournament final, as Nightshade will take on Laura Di Matteo. In that one, I just want to go through and check and make sure everybody's titles is on the line. Yeah, and we're all good for that, so let's get into it. So starting off with the 5v5 37, like I said, for these matches, I'm not really bothered about their rating per se. That's why they're on pre-show. It's purely to get everybody in. It kind of gives me a gauge as well of like who could be good performers. Obviously we know Sapphire, JJ's probably one that's going to be getting involved in the cruiserweight angle soon. Tate Mayfair's has been decent in these matches, so maybe we'll try and give him a little push in the heavyweight division. Randall Robinson picked up a 15. June Lee actually picked up a 22, so that's one of her best performances yet. Herman Christian getting a 15 as well. So the Young Lions obviously were the weakest, but not out of their depth. Chantal Jordan, Herman Christian, JJ Gale, Sapphire Reed and Ika Navarro were the ones to walk away with a win after Sapphire Reed pinned June Lee. In our other pre-show match, we actually have an injury in this one. Does it end up being a 38? The wrestling got a good rating, but for some reason I think it must have been the injury didn't put it up as high as we thought it would go. We actually have 103 people in the building for this one as well. Kenny Williams will defeat Will Cruz in 1 minute in 10 minutes 08 by pinfall following the swinging DDT, but unfortunately Will Cruz has sustained a bruised pectoral. He was outperformed by Kenny Williams in this one anyway, so we are going to hope to push Kenny Williams towards that undisputed title picture. In our first match, we will see Josiah defend his title against Leon Cage after an interference from Yu Owada. It was a high spots match, and Josiah makes defense number 3, gets a 45. A big 50 for Josiah, Leon Cage with a 42. Surprisingly, Josiah's great finish was a failure, but it was a near certainty, I'm pretty sure, or likely to succeed, so I'm surprised that's failed. Does advance our Cruiserweight Chase storyline as well, but a good match between those two to open up the show. Then following that, after a competitive match, Leon Cage is disappointed in the corner of the ring. Josiah approaches him and helps him to his feet, extending a hand to this Cruiserweight counterpart when Owada hits the ring and drops both the champ and the challenger before picking up the title and staring at it longingly. Not bad for sure. It does advance our storyline as well. Get 44 and 2 34s. And you can see Yu Owada benefited from having that groundswell. I'm now hoping, because Yu Owada is no longer officially a young lion, that he should be able to now get wins over people without them throwing their toys out of the pram, basically. And then an amazing match here, a 57 between Golden Boy Francisco and the Smoke. I'm just going to call them Golden Boy Francisco. I think that's just an okay name. Golden Boy Francisco, but the Smoking Aces do defeat Golden Boy Francisco when Charlie Sterling pinned Golden Boy with the spiral tap. Golden Boy was actually the weak link in this match. You can see an absolutely huge 59 from Charlie Sterling in this one, with Nick Riley getting a 53. Golden Boy Santos had a 38. David Francisco had a 49. So absolutely massive performances. We did have a creative finish on this one to help boost it as well. It's making me think that I want to keep these two around, but I just don't know if it's feasible money-wise, but it's making me think for sure. It definitely is. Next up, we have the Hunter Brothers taking on Purge, and the Hunter Brothers would walk out as victors in 9 minutes 37 when Jim Hunter pinned Crowbar with a neck breaker. Lee Hunter did carry this match. The Purge have kind of come in to be our fall boys in this one. I don't know if they will get a win before the end of the tournament. You can see generally their Crowbar isn't up to performance standards. Stevie James having a better one, outperforming Jim Hunter in this one. But generally they're in the 30s to low 40s range, whereas a lot of the competition, the two front runners for the competition, as you had probably guessed, the Hunter brothers and the Smoking Aces, are in the 40s to 50s range generally most of the time. So a 47 for this one, pretty decent overall. Then we unfortunately do take a drop in this one. In a good match, Charles Crowley has defeated and Elijah have defeated the Stunners when Charles Crowley pinned Amari with the Crowley carousel. It was designed so they could go all out, but unfortunately it hasn't really worked too much, and Amari has actually sustained a strained rotator cuff, which isn't great. Elijah getting a 34 in this one, Charles Crowley getting a 47, Levi Moore with a 30, and Amari with a 35. Levi Moore was really off his game for some reason, and we'll have to see how that. But yeah, only a 35 for that one, which is slightly disappointing. But let's see how we finish the show. Elijah's got backstage heat after he injured Amari with a botched move as well, which isn't great. But we do finish the show with a big 58 in an exceptional match. Laura Di Matteo has defeated Nightshade in 50 minutes 02 by submission with the Rings of Saturn. It was to tell a specific story, which it seems like it does. This match had a lot of interference, so we had LA Taylor and I've forgotten the name. LA Taylor and Sky Smithson come down to the ring to try and aid Nightshade because they're upset with Laura Di Matteo. However, Sapphire Reed and Chantel Jordan would come out as the FWA kind of originals to make the save, which obviously controversial considering both of them have been going after Laura Di Matteo herself. But they would make the save to stop LA Taylor and Sky Smithson getting involved. Would almost inadvertently cost Laura Di Matteo once again after Nightshade would take advantage, but she would manage to once again, as she did to LA Taylor, manage to get back on track and lock in the Rings of Saturn and make defense number 7 of the FWA women's title, and also win the women's battle bracket. Nightshade did actually give her a good run for her money with a 43. Laura Di Matteo coming in with a 57. She's just head and shoulders above anybody else that I can find right now. So we're still hunting competition for Laura Di Matteo, but 58 is a very good way to finish a show. That show does get a 58 overall rating, which is absolutely huge for us. That may be one of our best shows of all time. The 57 and the 58 must have been a big help for us in that one, and we do increase our popularity in one region, though we probably haven't actually increased our popularity in one region, but it likes to tell you that anyway. Let's go to backstage. We're obviously going to have to talk to Amari. Maybe just give him a hug because he did get injured in this one, unfortunately. And we'll also give a big shout out to Leon Cage as well. And point him out as a good example. Murray seemed pleased, and so I don't think either of those would do anything. We actually do get 2 on this one. I forgot about this. Will Cruz has got a bruised pectoral muscle. He's only out for 27 days. Amari, however, with a strained rotator cuff, out for 74 days. That isn't great. He can work through it, but it will affect his performances, which, again, like I said, that's a bit worrying for us. We do get 309 for ticket sales and 103 for merchandise. Do lose another $2,000 though, so still looking a bit troublesome for us. Oh, we actually do go up in popularity again to the 58, being a huge impact, having a huge impact straight away for us, taking us straight up to 5 instead of being stuck at 4 for 3 years. So hopefully, maybe we may have a little bit of momentum behind us, and we can keep things going with the battle bracket coming to the end now, as well as the battle bracket. So we'll take a look at the rankings and then we'll go from there. So obviously a confirmation of the injuries. Sapphire Reed believes June Lee is a star in the making. She can make some serious money in the future. So that's nice to see that she's definitely still growing. Will Cruz obviously injured as well, which isn't great. I want to see, did that affect our backstage that much? Because obviously a bit of heat on Elijah, yeah. he is on there now. But luckily we're still having good success because our shows are doing well, even though our money's in trouble, and yeah, things aren't looking too positive. But now to look at the standings right now, you can see the Smoking Aces at the moment running through the field with only one match left, taking on, I believe, is it Crowley and Elijah that they have left? Yeah, it should be Crowley and Elijah, the last team that they have to take on. The Hunter brothers close second. Golden Boy, Francisco and Elijah are just behind them, with the Stunners definitely behind and struggling at the moment. Not as much as the Purge, but they are struggling because they started off with great momentum, but so far it seems to have fallen away after that. So some work needs to be done on that somewhat makeshift partnership between the two. But yeah, the Smoking Aces are basically one match away from locking themselves in. The Hunter brothers can still catch them, but they will have to beat Golden Francisco next time out. So we'll be wrapped up in our next show. So that's going to be a big one for us because we may crown our first champions. Right, so we have put in for the last show of the battle bracket. We have picked the 12th because TNT and Eve are running a bunch of shows at the beginning of the month. So we're going to do Friday the 12th of June to wrap up battle bracket. So that does mean we have a fair distance until we actually end up at the show. It's 40 days. So we do have a little while to wait. Hopefully in that time nothing major happens. What happened? Oh, he's annoyed at causing an injury through a botch. Let's take a look at the backstage actually and see how it's doing. The morale is good right now. Obviously Elijah does have heat at the moment because of his botch and causing an injury to Amari, but it should give Amari a good amount of time to heal up. Jim Hunter has gone from tone to average, which isn't a change we really want to happen, and now I don't think we're actually going to be able to get him to change back because obviously he has just gone through one. That's not the right thing. So I don't think because he's just done that, he's now not going to be able to get in better shape. I wonder. No, he wouldn't be interested in gaining weight. So yeah, lost some shape, but he is 44, so that's probably fine. Now this is an interesting one. I think we talked about it before, but Yuka Sakazaki is currently unemployed. She is based in the US, so we'd have to see if she would be interested in coming over, which she isn't at the moment, but we've opened her up to working in Britain. If we could eventually at some point get her on a loan system so we're not paying that travel, she could be an interesting one. She has just changed to a comedy wrestler, which doesn't necessarily fit our style, but I'm not against trying to use comedy wrestlers, to be fair. But you can see based on her stats, she's incredible in the ring, to be honest. I don't even know if is she working matches at the moment. Maybe a couple of the indies. She has just worked one against Jada Stone, got 48 in that one. She was in Marigold as well, where she got a 61 in Marigold. So she is obviously a very talented wrestler, but travel wise we wouldn't be able to afford her at the moment, so it would be one for the future maybe. So just out of curiosity, obviously Johnny Gargano is someone that we've got on our list at the moment as someone down the line that we could use. He's just been offered a handshake deal by DPW, and it's 1,400 per show with 30% merch. So that's something to keep in mind, that maybe DPW are a company that we might want to try and work on our relationship with, especially because of this. They've also signed Lyra Valkyria or Valkyrie on a deal as well now, so they would both be available there if obviously Johnny Gargano does accept, which I imagine he probably will do because he's not actually with a company at the moment. So that may be something that we want to take a look at. How do DPW currently feel about us? They don't have anything towards us, so we will adopt a friendly attitude towards them and then we will see how that builds as we try and increase in size. We've still got 25 days as of yet until we get to Battle Bracket 5. Oh, actually, just before we get to that bit, I have actually come to a decision on what I want to do with Charlie Sterling as well. Obviously, we are paying him 180 per show plus his travel, so I think it's about 230 at the moment. But with him being one of our best in-ring performers at the moment, as well as one of our best road agents as well, I think I'll probably for now just bite the bullet and keep him on board for this contract, and see how it goes down the line as to whether he keeps improving or not. He is far and away at the moment at the top of our list for popularity for in-rings. He's right up there with the best that we have in the company at the moment, so I think it would be silly for us to let him go really with that in mind. It's obviously more money than we want to be paying, but I think we can start clawing things back in other areas, so that's my overall plan, to be honest. So a couple of things. Oliver Carter has now left FWA. Obviously I came to this decision last time that while he's in Europe, we just can't really afford to keep bringing him in. He's very good, but I kind of have a different idea for what I want to go for in our cruiserweight division right now, and I think we've got enough bodies in there that are more affordable at the moment that we don't necessarily need to keep him around. But obviously I will keep an eye on what it is that he's up to. I can imagine he'll probably get hired by somebody else. North have got another financial warning, as well as a couple of the Japanese companies. Alright, a few more things coming in here. Will Cruz is now fully recovered from his, was it pulled pectoral? No, pulled bicep? I can't remember which one his was, but he's recovered anyway. Don't actually know who this is. Oh, someone that's on our shortlist is now gone from tone to ripped. Paul Tracy is retiring from active in ring. That's fine, because we don't use him actively in the ring anyway. Maybe we'll even give him a retirement match or something like that. And Tyler Bate has officially left WWE. Again, not someone we can currently afford, but nice to know that he would be available down the line should we want to try and bring him in once we have anywhere near the funds to do that. Besides from that, it's not much else. I have pre-booked out the next show, so that may be helpful in terms of trying to draw. So another contract expiry coming up here. June Lee's contract is due to expire. She wants 400 a show now. She's a young lion. I know she's got a very promising future, but 400 a show for a young lion. There's absolutely not a chance in hell I'm offering her 400 per show. That is crazy. She only works for us as well. I'll go in and offer her 1 year. It's not a chance. She's currently on 30. I'll take her up to 50. 400 per show. Yeah, there's not a chance. June Lee will be leaving us then, because there's not a chance I'm paying her 400 per show. I hope she has the best of luck with what she's doing, but yeah, I can't even comprehend how it is that she believes, as a young lion who's literally not even that great in the ring yet. I mean, the best performance she's pulled off for us as of yet, I believe, has been maybe that 22, but like not anywhere near the standard of wrestling that you would require of someone to, yeah, that's crazy to me. I actually genuinely can't believe that she wants 400 per show. I think then I'll give Kenny Williams the creative idea that I did pick up, which is likely to succeed, and hopefully that will change his morale. It actually doesn't. Oh, it was unsuccessful, so that's actually made things way worse. Right, so it's show day. We're not going to be giving anyone the night off. We are expecting 105 fans in the building at the moment. Every time this has happened though, we've had underneath this attendance, so I'm not expecting it to stay there. Will still be generic venue for us. No pre-show incidents. Booking team-wise, we have only generated 109 this time round. Is there any reason why? Oh, because David Rain is irritated. So his is currently being reduced, but it is what it is. Try and pick up some creative finishes. Big Gamble is not one we're going to be using. We're only going to have 2 attempts at this. The near certainty for Nick Riley being the victor. I'm not sure if that will be used tonight, but we will take a look. Locker room incident. Stevie James came with you backstage with an idea for enhancing his character. I mean, that's great, but he probably won't be here for that to be utilised. Randall Robinson lifted the locker room when a silly game he created quickly became very popular backstage. Good work from Randall. Apparently, Herman Christensen and Golden Boy Santos had a blazing argument outside the venue. Herman Christensen is a grifter and is currently pleased. Why did they clash? Like, Herman Christensen shouldn't be having problems with people considering he's currently pleased, so his grifter personality shouldn't actually have any issues, but he's had another one. Kenny Williams was being obnoxious and eventually beat up Herman Christensen after a fight broke out between them. For God's sake, Kenny. Well, I'm going to go ahead and fine Kenny Williams. Herman Christensen is upset at that. I'm not firing Kenny because we do have ideas for him in the future. June Lee and LA Taylor did some training. Levi Meow, Luke Sharp, Herman Christian, Leon Cage, Wilder, Randall Robinson, Elijah and Jim Hunter did some training as well. Don't know why Herman Christensen is getting into so many issues. I'm going to do an open forum and see if that helps. Amari aired his issue and got a small boost. Kenny Williams got a small boost as well. We had a small boost for David Rain. Herman Christensen got a small boost. Des Robinson got a small boost. And Elijah got a small boost as well. So that actually worked out well for us in the end. Like I have pre-booked this, so I will go and put that on now, and then we'll talk through the card. Alright, so this is the card. We will be kicking things off with... Oh, actually, I need to do the pre-show match, so I'll do that after. We will be kicking the main card off with Chantel Jordan, Laura Di Matteo, and Sapphire Reed taking on Sky Smithson, Nightshade, and LA Taylor before the Purge and the Stunners engage in their final tournament match. Yu Wada, we will then hear from him. Then Golden Boy Francisco versus the Hunter Brothers. Obviously, the Hunter Brothers currently second in the table, so desperately need a win to keep their hopes alive. Kenny Williams versus Tate Mayfairs in a heavyweight match before our main event. We'll see the currently undefeated Smoking Aces take on Charles Crowley and Elijah, with the Smoking Aces trying to wrap up the tournament basically in this one with a win. Going to be penalised for not having enough angles apparently, so I may change some things around, but I kind of need most of the matches to stay at the length that they are, so it's a bit awkward. I have added one more angle just so that we're not getting marked down for that, so let's get into this. The one thing is Amari has a strained rotator cuff, but there's not much we can do about that because we do need to finish it. So starting things out with the 39, obviously we have just been doing these 5v5s. The whole point of these at the moment is purely just to get our young lions in the ring, get them some reps. Junie has put in the 20, obviously she is leaving us, so we're not too focused on her right now. Randall Robinson putting in a 14, Herman Christian with a 15. So ironically, June Lee is the furthest ahead right now of our young lions, but her demands are absolutely obscene, so there's not a chance we're going to be paying for them. Yu Wada has benefited still from his groundswell public support, and Godboy Santos did well at ringside. I'm not going to run through all of these because I don't think it's necessarily important for a pre-match, but the winners were Herman Christian, Ethan Navarro, JJ Gale, Leon Cage, and Zosiah. It's also Advanced Cruiserweight Chase, which I always keep forgetting because we've got competition from that storyline in here, that is going to happen. We also, for one of the very rare occasions that has happened, I've got 107 people in today, which is above what the prediction was, which very, very rarely happens for us. But let's move on to the main card. Opening things up, we do get a very good 47 when Sky Smithson, Nightshade and LA Taylor defeat Chantel Jordan, Laura Di Matteo and Sapphire Reed when Nightshade pinned Laura Di Matteo with a quick cradle after Sapphire Reed accidentally struck Laura Di Matteo. This match was designed to tell a specific story, that story being obviously the tension between these three, but they are now coming up against this new unit of new signings that work well together. I believe all three of these women have tagged together in some capacity. I think Sky Smithson and LA Taylor are the most well-known part of that tag team, but I think Nightshade and Sky Smithson have also crossed over, maybe LA Taylor as well. So I thought that unit kind of made sense together. But obviously this unit is Laura Di Matteo and her most recent competition since the company started. And we also kind of running, did Sapphire Reed mean to do it, or was it actually an accident as it's being framed as? But 47 is a very good way to start off the show. Sapphire Reed pulling in a 43, Laura Di Matteo with a 58, Chantel Jordan 37, so she has slipped behind what is kind of our top three women in the division right now. LA Taylor with a 35, Nightshade with a 46, so she's putting herself right in between Sapphire Reed and Laura Di Matteo at the moment. Sky Smithson with a 37, so a good way to start the show altogether. We then get a 29, which isn't a great rating for an angle, but it kind of was just a thrown in angle, where we see a shot of the Stunners heading to the ring and the visibly banged up undisputed heavyweight champion in Amari favouring his shoulder next to a very determined looking Levi Muir. A Brotherhood Reborn has advanced with this but has lost heat, not surprised with it being a 29. And in their match again doesn't pull in, and I was worried this was going to happen because I wanted to keep Amari to have limited involvement for the story, and I didn't actually think that Amari would be able to bring up the match by himself, so it kind of is what it is. But Stunners have defeated the Purge in 9 minutes 17 when Levi Muir submitted Crowbar. This will obviously see the Stunners get their second win of the tournament, taking them up to 6 points, and unfortunately the Purge don't get any wins at all. Stevie James did get a 37, Crowbar got a 30, Levi Muir got a 30 as well. Amari only got an 18, but that's because he had limited involvement. It did advance storyline, but again it lost heat, and it did take a hit purely because of Amari having limited involvement, but I didn't want him to potentially aggravate his injury and get worse, so it kind of made sense. We were always going to take a hit for this match, I believe, so this, in my head, was the best way to take that hit. But let's move on to the next. And in another poor segment, to be honest, Dave Rain gives an interview to Yu Owada asking him about his recent change in attitude and why it's come about. Owada proceeds to cut a promo fully in Japanese, much to the confusion of Rain and the crowd, signaling that Owada isn't catering to anyone but himself now. He is benefiting from the groundswell support, but all in all was not a great promo. So already with those three segments, we're not going to get as high a rated show unless these last couple of matches absolutely go off. So that's a disappointing way to finish the battle bracket, but it is what it is. I wanted to try something here and see if that groundswell support affected things, and it doesn't seem it does promo wise. But in the next match, Golden Francisco are defeated, by the Hunter brothers when Lee Hunter pinned Golden Boy Santos. I cannot get their name right, with a scooping reverse DDT. It was a match that was used to tell a specific story. It does get a 46 overall. David Francisco getting a 44, Golden Boy Santos 33, Jim Hunter with a 35, and Lee Hunter with a 49. Which obviously Lee Hunter has been our top guy in that tag team right now. And obviously that now puts the Hunter brothers on level terms with the Smoking Aces going into the Smoking Aces main event match. So they have piled the pressure on the Smoking Aces, as the Smoking Aces now have to respond. Otherwise we could see ourselves in a very interesting post-battle bracket scenario. Co-Manny back here with you once again as we're getting into some more action, this time in the undisputed heavyweight division, as we see Tate Mayfair's taking on the newly heavyweight Kenny Williams, who's been looking to try and impress and maybe make his way towards more gold here in FWA after being our longest reigning cruiserweight champion, now stepping up to the undisputed British heavyweight championship level and taking a tough match here in the division, but starting off quickly with a leg sweep and a stomp to the chest into a tiger driver as well, and then a tiger suplex as well. Kenny Williams starting this one off hot, but Tate Mayfair's not one to go down easily with a nice handspring elbow in the corner, but more suplex offense coming in here from Kenny Williams, showing that he has the strength to hang with a heavyweight. Tate Mayfair's not known as the strongest, I guess. He's a very strong guy, but not like a powerhouse, for instance. More of a striker slash high flyer, I guess, as we see a very impressive move from Tate Mayfair's there, spinning around out into the lariat, but then a big planting, I'm going to call it Hiromu time bomb-esque move from Kenny Williams, dropping Tate Mayfair's and then showing that he still has that high flying skill in his repertoire as he hits a big lion salt, but gets nailed with a tombstone. It looked like Tate Mayfair's may upset Kenny Williams here, but no, a kick out from Kenny, keeping him in this one. Then Tate Mayfair's gets caught with the tornado DDT. It looked to be done for, however, Tate Mayfair still had enough in the tank. It's something that Kenny Williams is going to have to adjust to if he is going to go after the championship, that the heavyweights can take just a few more shots, and we could see that Kenny Williams clearly knew that as he goes up for another one of his finishes, the diving clothesline to the outside, but a mistake from Kenny Williams trying to show off too much of that high flying offense, going for a moonsault to the outside and getting his ribs crushed before things come back inside the ring, and a running knee to the face of Kenny Williams. Looked like Tate Mayfair has this one wrapped up. However, something that we didn't quite see, Kenny Williams had removed the top turnbuckle, and you could see it stalled the referee, who didn't know the pin was going on, and it does give Kenny Williams just enough time to keep himself in this match. Tate Mayfair's going for another tiger feint lariat. The lariat offense of Mayfair's coming through, and he will follow it up with another one. Kenny Williams reeling here. Tate Mayfair's looking to try and end this one. Big T-bone suplex from Mayfair's, looks to put him on the way to doing that. Surprisingly, Kenny Williams still getting up to his feet, whipped off, and then another rolling lariat this time from Mayfair's. But look at Kenny Williams getting back to his feet and showing he also has lariat offense in his repertoire as well, then sweeping the leg with that classic Kenny Williams speed, going for the cover. But Mayfair still has more than enough in the bank, and then Kenny Williams would lock in something we wouldn't expect to see from him, a submission offense, but no, Mayfair's using his technical ability and skill to roll out of that one. Kenny Williams are using the speed and catching another tornado DDT, this time dropping Mayfair's on the top of his dome, and it was too much for Mayfair's to come back from this time. Kenny Williams making gains in the heavyweight division. Next match is Kenny Williams versus Tate Mayfair's, and Kenny Williams has defeated Tate Mayfair's in 11 minutes 04 by a pinfall with a swinging DDT, also that they could go all out. Does get a 47 overall, which is great. Kenny Williams got 42, Tate Mayfair's getting a 43, so Tate just about outperforming Kenny, but Kenny getting the win in this one. Obviously, we do have Kenny in mind for a mini push, though his attitude seems to be getting in his way right now, so I am keeping that in the back of my head. Tate Mayfair's is someone that I am starting to get more and more keen on as time goes on, but we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But 47 is nice to keep momentum going. Let's get into our main event, which gets a 54 in an absolutely huge match. It was a huge match, and a huge match needs huge commentary, as we see the Smoking Aces taking on Elijah and Crowley. Smoking Aces looking to take home the Tag Team Championships and the Battle Bracket Trophy with a win in this one. We know they are determined, and Nick Riley showing his multifaceted game here, going for those running shooting star presses on the outside, but Crowley would get his knees up and then deliver a big chop to the neck of Riley, then just choking him out with the claw, as we see him do so often. Crowley delivering some devastating offense, and we saw a pump punch coming in from Elijah, but he actually gets caught mid-air by Riley with a sort of head scissors and a drop kick all in one, completely stopping the offense of Elijah before it ever gets rolling. And now the Smoking Aces looking to dissect Elijah in their own corner. Riley absolutely brutalizing the bald man as they would tag in, and we would see Charlie Sterling hit a big move and then a huge assisted move there as well, as it was kind of assisted swanton, I guess, but Elijah still had enough in the bank to kick out. Charlie Sterling now going to go for that devastating brawler style offense. You can see him going for the arm, just twisting it up and stomping on it. Crowley though would get the tag in and hit a swinging DDT on Nick Riley, the big man, moving all around the place, the heavyweight in this tandem of Elijah and Crowley. You have it on the opposite side, but you can see Nick Riley is no slouch when it comes to strength, getting the heavyweight Crowley up on his shoulders, and we know what this is from Nick Riley. It's the old classic, the aeroplane spin, which he's won matches with before. He almost put the Hunter brothers away with this exact move, and he was looking to do exactly the same thing to Charles Crowley into the cover over in his own corner. Elijah can't get in the ring, but it's a kick out from Crowley. And then the devastating double underhook DDT. You can see the way that the neck folded for Crowley there, but this time Elijah is aware to it, he is alert to it, and he gets across the ring because I don't think Charles Crowley had it in him to kick out. However, a tag does happen, but Nick Riley is not letting Elijah get any offense in on this one, immediately stifling him, putting him into the corner, and now looking to wear him down. But Elijah, with a big elbow to the face of Nick Riley, tries to get offense back on his team side, but no, you can see the Smoking Aces are just absolutely taking apart Elijah and Crowley, showing through with their tag team chemistry, and the spike pile driver from the Smoking Aces dropping Elijah on his head, but Crowley would manage to get in and break things up. Then Elijah, managing to switch momentum into his favour, would muscle up the bigger man in Charlie Sterling, hitting a big swinging side slam, going for the cover himself, but Sterling still had enough. You can see it's only just a shoulder off the mat as all four of these men begin to wear down. They tried to go for some tag team offense, but Sterling just had too much, manages to counter out of it and hit a big powerbomb on Elijah, then stunning Crowley on the ring apron, trying to get in his head. Bit of double team offense from Elijah and Crowley there, and then the heavyweight taking over against the heavyweight of the Smoking Aces, and Charles Crowley hitting that spinning power slam that he's used to win matches all throughout his career, and this match would be no exception, with Elijah and Crowley claiming a huge victory in this one and throwing a massive wrench into the final results for the battle bracket. I'll let the other one take over and tell you exactly what that means. And in a bout that had superb wrestling and great heat, Charles Crowley and Elijah have defeated the Smoking Aces in 40 minutes 12 when Charles Crowley pinned Nick Riley with a fast roll up. The match was designed so that they could go out and steal the show. Elijah was the weak link, which we thought he would be. The match was part of the battle bracket, and the battle bracket tournament has now ended with the Hunter brothers and Smoking Aces as joint winners. I think it probably made sense as it was going along that this is the outcome that we were going to go for. The more that we were booking things in, I'm sure you guys probably started to get a vibe of that we were going to go for something that may last until after battle bracket, and this is the reveal of that exact thing. Elijah got a 30, Charles Crowley got a 49, Nick Riley got a 53, and Charlie Sterling getting a 59. So absolutely massive performances there from the Smoking Aces and Charles Crowley. So yeah, things looking good, and we do have an angle to continue on now after the battle bracket is finished. Let's take a look and see what the rating of the show is. I think it's probably going to not be as high as I want because of those bad angles. It's a 51 still though, so not bad all in all. Obviously we started off hot and then dipped off, but then did finish hot as well. So maybe that is a full increase. I doubt it is. We do spend 2,400 on this one, bringing in 428 on tickets and 107 on merch this time. So we're chipping away at it, but not quite there as of yet. Still spending high on workers, but obviously now post battle bracket we will be seeing a bunch of those workers leave, so we should get more into where we actually are going to be going forward. But yeah, let's see. Popularity wise, we actually do go up to 6 as well now, popularity wise. So we are starting to hit a bit of momentum here with our popularity, which is very nice to see. So yeah, that is it for the battle bracket. Obviously that means that in terms of tag team champions, we actually haven't crowned any tag team champions yet, because post battle bracket we do have a draw with the Smoking Aces and the Hunter brothers. Charles Crowley and Elijah do finish third, with Golden Francisco and the Stunners behind them. The Purge unfortunately not picking up any wins in this one. Charles Crowley I am going to be keeping around for the time being, because obviously he got a pin over Amari, so he has a claim to a world, or not world champions, or an undisputed British heavyweight championship match, so he will be staying around. David Francisco I will also be keeping around, because he's only on 70 at the moment and performed very well through most of his matches. Elijah, unfortunately, with what happened with him, we will just probably be letting him go. Crowbar will be leaving us, not quite up to where we want. I think the next one is Stevie James that we will be letting go. But yeah, that is going to be it for this now, for this episode at least. Obviously we have now grown to 6 in England, in Southern England, sorry. So we are making our way towards that 17 to potentially get to Tiny. You can see we've actually just absolutely ramped up over the last couple of months, and the battle bracket did have a very, very big impact. Just before we end, what would Nick Riley be looking at for a renewal, I wonder? What's 140 per show? So that is it. It's not a massive rise, and we don't have any travel to pay, so that's one to think about as well. But yeah, that is going to be the end of this one. Please like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell to get notified when the next episode is available to you, and I hope to see you in it. Peace.